What exactly is the procedure of worship as envisaged by, as prescribed and detailed by the Vedas? Mahapurusham abhyarched. You should worship Mahapurusham. Understand, the word used is Mahapurusham abhyarched. You should worship the Mahapurusha. Murtya abhimatayatmanaha. In the matter of worshipping, our Hindu Dharma gives you a clear option. You are free to take up any murti or any deva of any description. It is said that we have 33 crores of gods and goddesses. Such a large variety. I don't know whether we will have 33 crores of dress styles in India. But we have 33 crores of gods. You can choose anyone, whomever you like. The other day, I was standing in the airport. I found a man wearing a black bush shirt. It is written there, 24 at the back, white color. I was asking, what is this? Is he a cricket player or football? It's simply a shirt. 24. What is this 24 meaning? And people like it. So they have to increase their fashion. But what is the manner of increasing? So we have got 33 crores of gods. So you can take anything that you like. Be a worshipper of Shiva or Vishnu or maybe Brahma or Devi, and in Devi too Lakshmi, Parvati, Saraswati or Ganesha or what they call Shadanana, Kartikeya. You can worship anybody. And I think we have got rat god, bird god and bandicoot god. So many gods. For us everything is God. So anything that you can worship, he says. But the manner of worship is clearly prescribed, where the object vanishes and the subject worshipper alone shines and is concerned with. Labdha anugraha acharyad tena sandarshita gamaha mahapurusham abhyarchet murtya abhimatayatmanaha. So choose your own Ishta deity, your own chosen deity you must have. I am reminded of what Dhruva says. When he began to praise Mahavishnu, he was only 5 years old. He was sent to the Madhuvanam, the huge forest, by the mother herself with a lot of confidence. In the palace, you are refused the lap of your father. I also am not regarded or treated well in the palace. So you can only hope to get Mahavishnu's lap, go and worship him. Confidently the mother sends him to the dense forest of Madhuvanam. He stays there and he worships. His worship was intensified month after month, month after month. And in the 5th month, it became so intense that the whole vast world was not able to breathe. Mahavishnu understood, some devotee is worshipping me. He understood the impact of it. He suddenly came with 4 hands, etc. Dhruva was closing his eyes. He was seeing the form of the Lord inside. A luminous form of Mahavishnu. That Shankha Chakra Gada Pani. Suddenly the form disappeared. He had almost a jerk. He opened his eyes and found Mahavishnu right in front. You know that boy, he must have been stupefied. He didn't know what to do. He wanted to praise but he could not. Then Mahavishnu stroked his cheek with the conch in his hand and the boy became very vocal. And the first praise that he makes is this. What is Mahapurusha you will understand from here. Yom dav pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam sanjeevayatyahila shakti dharaswadhamna anyamscha hastacharana shravanatvagaadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. He worships Mahavishnu as what? Bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. I worship you, O Purusha, to you the Bhagavan. So Bhagavan became a Purusha before him. Why? The word Purusha clearly specifies Puri Shede iti Purushaha. Whoever is actually living and residing in a nagari, in a town, he is called a Purusha. Actually, our body is a Navadwarapura Dehi. Navadwarapura. Our body is a city with 9 gates. This is what Bhagavad Gita says. Inside the body, when you dream, can you imagine how many countries, towns, cities and corporations appear there? So what is inside our body? There is a large space. When you see the free space outside, it is reflected inside in your mind. Should not the mind be greater than space then? So our body is really a city. Now there, Yom Dav Pravishya Mama Vacham Imam Prasuptam Sanjeevayati Akhila Shakti Dharaswadhamna. Oh my dear Lord, you have taken your seat within the body of a person. And by virtue of your Swadhamna, by virtue of your abode, which has got infinite potential, Sanjeevayati Akhila Shakti Dharaha. You are the wielder of all powers, Akhila Shakti Dharaha. You embody in yourself all the known and unknown powers necessary for administering this world. Antah Pravishya, having entered inside, Mama Vachamimam Prasuptam Sanjeevayati. You are activating my speech, which is otherwise lying dormant. Anyamsha, not merely speech you activate. Hasta Charana Shravana Twagadin. Hasta, hand, Charana, feet, Shravana, ears, Twagadin, skin, etc. Pranan, the Pancha Pranas. Such a Lord Purusha, I prostrate before him. Now Srimad Bhagavata here, Avirhotra says, Mahapurusham abhyarchet. Consider God to be the Purusha, Mahapurusha. That means, in all forms of worship, you must have the consciousness that you are worshipping the Purusha who is residing in your own body. Then only worship becomes meaningful. Any worship, though in front of a deity, understand the worship is of the worshipper, and the worshipper is really worshipping his own inner self. He cannot normally do any worship because nothing will go inside. Suppose I get a basket full of flowers, can I throw them into the self within? The self is inside the body. So how can I worship it with flowers? It is not possible. At the same time, I have the feeling that I should worship. So I use an idol. I place the idol in a comfortable, clean manner, put a lot of decorations in front of it, make garlands, so many other offers. All these are given. But in reality, all such worship is addressed to, it is focused on the Mahapurusha. So worship whichever deity you like most, I have no objection. But before worshipping, you should take the right instruction from a proper teacher. Our Shastras say, Guror Anugraha Deva Puman Purnaha Prajayate. Only by the blessing of a Guru, the human will become perfect, not otherwise. Don't think that the whole scheme can be attempted only by yourself. A direction will cut short the distance you have to travel. It will also cut short the time that you will otherwise take. So worship the deity you consider most and with the proper direction from a Guru. Shuchihi sammukhamasinaha prana samyamanadibhihi pindam vishodhya sannyasa kritaraksho archayed harim. I would like you to listen to me very carefully. Viewers, are you doing it? This is the procedure for worship. See how the whole thing is described as a science and dealt with in a very precise but specific manner. Shuchihi sammukhamasinaha. First of all, you should have a bath. Take bath and remove all the malinya, the stain of the body. Wear very good new piece of cloth. New means washed and dried at least. Such clothes you should wear. Shuchihi sammukhamasinaha. And in front of the deity, right opposite to the deity, you should remain. not in one side. Sammukham asinaha. Prana samyamanadhibhi pindam vishodhya. Now you have to purify your body. How will you purify your body? If you take food, the food directly goes into the stomach. And the stomach and the mouth, they are a very small part of the body. Suppose you have a body weighing 60 kilograms. The stomach and the food pipe together, if you take the weight off, how much will it be? So our body is full, it's a mass. And how will you purify it? Prana samyamanadibhihi pindam vishodhya. Pindam means the body, vishodhya, purified, having purified. Prana samyamanadibhihi. You have to take pranayama. Breath is actually the intake of air. And though the lungs are functioning in order to take in air, the air goes to every cell of the body throughout. It has to be everywhere. So in order to purify the whole body, the breath can be used as a means. And using breath as a means for purifying the body, this is called pranayama. Normally what happens? The breath gets in without your specific will or wish. And after getting in, instantly it goes out also. This is what takes place. Now you apply your will in the whole process. And then what are you supposed to do? There are many different kinds of pranayama. All of them have to be properly known from a teacher. Otherwise you will be meddling with your lungs. But if you take a pranayama without touching the nose, there will be no problem at all. But all pranayamas are generally touching the nose. They will say, do like this, etc. I generally don't teach any such pranayama. But if at all, I sometimes tell my initiated disciples a pranayama without touching the nose, so that there will be no danger at all. So this pranayama aims at 1 or 2 points. What are they? Normally the inhalation, the manner in which you inhale, the density of it, and the time duration, and the manner in which you exhale and the duration, these two are absolutely unregulated and unknown. The breath gets in and gets out. Now you pay a little attention and find out how the breath flows in and flows out. When you start following with your mind's attention the breath, you will find you go into the lungs and there is an expansion taking place in the body. Now, are you able to feel up to the edge of your fingers and toes? See, when I close my eyes and remain a little absorbed, you will find I am able to feel the whole body from head to foot. This is had only by your attention becoming inward. So in pranayama, what is the emphasis? You try to make your inflow and outflow of breath in the manner in which you want. Either make them equal or make them 1/4, 1/3, etc. Elongate, increase the length of the intake and increase the length of the outflow. Also, if you can, hold the breath outside. Don't allow it to enter inside without touching the nose. See, I have inhaled. Now I am going to keep the breath outside. I will not inhale. Now I have inhaled. This is called Bhashya Kumbhaka. Similarly, take the breath. After taking the breath, don't leave it. But mark, whenever I suggest, I will make sure that the nose is not touched at all. But generally pranayamas are touching the nose. When you touch the nose, unless you are properly guided, there will be a tendency to overdo. And that is not good. It may result in some harm. So you take the breath in. I have not left it. Now I am leaving. So you can hold it up to at least 10, 15 or 20 counts. That is quite substantial. And take the full breath so that the whole lungs will be full and the whole system will be getting the benefit of it. And if you breathe out, breathe as much as you can so that the entire toxin goes out. If you are able to expel the toxin, normally the full toxin doesn't go out because the breath is not filling the lungs fully and proportionately not reaching enough also in all the places. So the toxic content, when it is expelled, because it is toxin, expulsion of it automatically purifies the body. That is what they mean by prana samyamanadibhihi pindam vishodhya sannyasa krita raksho archayed harim. Then the next part is, there comes that ceremoniality, spirituality and divinity. Sannyasa krita rakshaha. By the protective placement of deities in different parts of your body, you try to do nyasa, and krita rakshaha become protected. Now, in order to protect after purification our body, you have to place the different deities in the different parts of your body. So, purify the body with achamana. What is achamana? Look at my finger. See, this is a mudra. The thumb is close to this forefinger so that there is no gap here. And then fold these fingers in this manner. Fold the forefinger and the others join and bend in this manner. So it almost becomes like a vessel. Now if I can take a spoonful of water and pour it, it will remain there without leaking through these areas. Now this is a mudra. Our whole hand is made into a somewhat vessel, achamana. And take either a spoonful or half a spoonful. There is a particular spoon which is round, not like our steel teaspoon, a round one. It is made of copper minimum. It can be silver or gold. Generally up to silver. Gold I have not seen. So you pour a little water here and then say God's name and drink it. Drink means there should not be a touch of saliva. You have to put it here and then do it. So though it is touching only the outer lip, like this. Now when you start chanting the name of God every time, Keshavaya Namaha, Narayanaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha, like that, it becomes a purification to your system. So it is ceremonially holding the palm, pouring a spoonful of water meant for the purpose, kept there in a special vessel, and then uttering the name of the Lord, you drink it. That is the way you administer purity to your system. And you bring about Bhuta Shuddhi. What is Bhuta Shuddhi? Gaining purity by contemplating upon the 24 elements in the body, divinizing them all. Normally we refer to our body and it only becomes a matter of abhimana for us, possession and possessiveness for us. But here a totally different concept is brought. What is our body? It is made up of 24 elements. They are called bhutas. And all these bhutas are to be purified. Bhuta Shuddhi. So you automatically get into an idea, what is this? Though I say my body, now it has become what? 24 elements are there. So the mind expands from the body, that little aggregate called the body, into the 24 elements which are in the universe. First of all, what are they? The Pancha Bhutas, you know, earth, water, air, fire and Akasha. Then thereafter, Pancha Tanmatras. What are they? Shabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha. These are properties of the different organs. We have got 5 sensory organs in order to sense these Tanmatras. Shabda is sensed by the ear. Sparsha is sensed by the skin. Rasa is sensed by the tongue. Rupa is sensed by the eyes. Gandha is sensed by the nose. So we have 5 different organs of perception only to sense and comprehend these 5 tanmatras. Then we have got 10 indriyas. Jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. So altogether how much? Panchabhutas 5, tanmatras 5 and indriyas 10. So 5 plus 5, 10 plus 10, 20. Now internally, mind becomes one, buddhi becomes another, ahankara and jiva, they become the remaining 2. Altogether 24. When you start thinking in this manner, you have a different idea about your whole personality. I am not just a person, a Swami, whom people call Swamiji, Bhumananda Swami. It's not just body. There are 24 elements. And where are these elements? All outside of me. Panchabhutas, Panchatanmatras. What is this? Panchendriyas are in my body. But the body itself is to feel the Tanmatras. Tanmatras are elsewhere. Panchabhutas are surrounding me. So I have a different concept. Now all these 5 elements, all these 24 elements are contemplated upon and they are purified. Now, in order to have the nyasa and sannyasa, nyasa means placement. It has got another meaning, renunciation, etc. Our ashram, Narayana Ashrama Tapovanam, is a trust. Now the word trust, it is actually an English translation for nyasa. Nyasis means trustees. People who have abandoned everything, on whom you can place your trust and they will do what you want them to do. That kind of a trusteeship, that is also a meaning. Here it means that you have to place the different deities in the different parts of your body so that all of them will be there, you will be purified and you will be protected by their presence. Protecting oneself by placing the devatas in the various parts of the body. What is this placement? In the name of this worship, what is first of all taking place is, you feel the divinity about you and the world around. We call it a worship. Worship is something divine. Normally you think, by worship, I am trying to reach God. Here the purpose of worship is, first of all, to spiritualize and divinize yourself. After all, you are going to worship God. So you become godly and divine. And this instilling godliness and divinity into you is the very purpose and nature of worship. Now, how the placement takes place, just see. Prajanane Brahma Tishtadu. Prajanane Brahma Tishtadu. In my genitals, let Brahma come and sit. Are you following me, my dear viewers? What are you thinking? This is what human imagination can do. You have a mind, you have an intelligence. We generally speak about sex, this, that and all. Just see how the whole divinity works. Prajanane, in the genitals, Brahma Tishtadu. Let Brahma, who is this Brahma? The creator of the whole world. When you have a child, you become Brahma of your child. You may be a Chota Brahma, a small Brahma. The other is a universal Brahma. If the other Brahma is divine and spiritual, you are also spiritual and divine. And that spirituality is imbibed by your imagination, by protectively placing Brahma in the genital regions. Padayoh Vishnuhu Tishtatu. In your feet, by which you trample upon the earth, let Mahavishnu come and abide there. Are you understanding what I say? Just imagine, you are not going to be a human being. The entire humanhood is elevated, transported, raised, sublimated to become divine. You think it's a worship offered to God. It is actually a process of divinizing, spiritualizing, and celestializing yourself.